What's up everybody, Chill Scrub here, coming back at you with another video. I know I haven't been posting lately, but here I am. And today's another back day. I love back day, I love chest day, I like just going to the gym in general. But I really want to talk about this because this has been a nagging thought of mine as it relates to the FGC, weightlifting, or anything in general. It's just the psychology of people and people using motivation only to achieve what they want. And once the motivation is gone, so is the will to do something. So let's take, for example, the gym. I've been seeing a surplus of people who have been wanting to go to the gym, and I am all for that. But I'm all for taking care of your body and doing the right thing and, you know, being inspired by others. But what happens once the initial motivation wears off, and what happens when you finally get to where you want? You know, what happens when you finally start looking good? And same thing with fighting games. What happens when you actually get to the skill level that you actually want to? Do you sit there? Where's the motivation? If you're using motivation only to achieve these goals, well, it's fleeting, right? And I'm not saying that everybody is doing that, but what I've noticed is a lot of people are. You know, a lot of people tend to, it's all fun and well when you're going to gym when your girl broke up with you, you know, the typical memes, you got bullied and you go to the gym to make yourself look better, or you're doing it for a reason because you just tired of looking the way you are. But what happens when you have to actually keep this up for the rest of your life? And what I see is, I find it very disrespectful, actually, when I see a lot of people doing this off of only motivation, and they start off strong and then it wanes and then it wanes over and then it wanes over and then it becomes a half-hearted effort. And I find that absolutely annoying, and I find it even more annoying when I see these people complain because they do not get the results they want, rather it be the gym or in fighting games or anything else you do in life. I find that absolutely annoying because that is very disrespectful to anybody or everyone who puts in the hours day after day after day when they don't want to, rather it be fighting games or the gym or whatever. They put in the hours and the work, right? They do it day after day, even when they don't want to, even when, you know, it's no longer fun, there's no motivation. They honor the commitment of going to the gym, or I honor the commitment of being good at the game or learning an instrument or what have you. They have made that commitment and they are going to stick to it. I find it borderline insulting. So I know I'm going to sound like a bad guy here, but I honestly think a lot of people who do this stuff, they're going to half-ass it. And it just goes to show by the data, half of the people who actually want to be successful in life, they don't be successful, not due to lack of ambition, not due to being lack of competency. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the fact that they end up getting comfortable, or they get to a certain point and then they want to half-ass it or make half-hearted attempts, and they start waning off, and then they fall back into these same patterns that got them there in the first place. Or a lot of people, they don't want to admit it, and it's okay to admit it. They are inspired by others. They see other people going to the gym, they see other people getting their body right, they see other people that are good at fighting games, and they want to do the same. Now, I'll use me as a prime example because I like to use me as an example for everything. I don't want to point the finger at everyone and not point the finger at myself. When it comes to fighting games, one of the first people that got me into fighting games was Daigo Umehara. Now, I learned quickly that I will never be a Daigo Umehara because one thing remains. I am not going to put in that much time to get that good. I'm not going to do it. And just like any other fighting game player, and I find it, again, insulting when I see other fighting game players, they get mad because they're not good at the game, but you don't put the time in. Another person that inspired me to be good at fighting games is people like Justin Wong and all these other old heads, Alex Valle, so forth and so forth. But I am not willing to put in that amount of work to get good at a fighting game. I'm just not. When it comes down to the gym, I will tell you, I've been inspired by others. I've been inspired by the likes of Ronnie Coleman, Jay Cutler. I'll even say Jesse James Weston. He's younger than me, but he's in phenomenal shape, and that's where I want to be. And I'll be the first one to tell you that motivation alone it's not gonna cut it. Just like you, for anybody who's ever starting this or going to start something that they're motivated by and they see somebody else doing it and you want to do it, you're going to get to a plateau, because I've reached it already. You're going to get to a plateau where you're not going to want to do it anymore with the same intensity that you started with, because you already have reaped the benefits. I already have the six pack, I already have the nice chest, I already have the big arms, I already have what I want. The reason why I go now is to maintain it and to honor the commitment I made beforehand. I'm like, I'm not going to half-heartedly do this. It's going to be a life change for the rest of my life. A lot of people do not think that critically when it comes down to doing something. They just get motivated by it and they just go do it. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, but really understand what you're getting yourself into. And then a lot of people end up getting depressed, or they form anxiety, or they wonder why they failed. I'm like, you just couldn't go the distance. It didn't have anything to do with your lack of competency. As I said earlier, it had nothing to do with your lack of intelligence or anything of that nature. It's just that you couldn't go the distance. When things got really hard, or when you finally got comfortable or at a good enough point, which I find is the biggest trap that nobody talks about, you just gave up. It got boring. That is the biggest trap. And I'm going to end the video here with this saying right now. The biggest trap that most people fall into is just good enough. And this is not a motivational thing. I'm talking about just for life. Like, you get to a point where this is good enough. I'm comfortable, you know. I got a little muscle here. I'm just good enough at fighting games. Let's go back to fighting games. Let's say you're a diamond player. Most people get stuck at diamond because they're comfortable. Like, it's high enough. You know, it's not bad. It's not average. It's definitely above average. Or let's take Tekken 7, for example. You get Tekken God, or you get Emperor. You're like, well, I'm good enough. I'm way better than the average player. But you wane off, and then you had aspirations of being a tournament player. That was the original aspirations. But because you already got comfortable with online, and you already got comfortable beating everybody else, and you have a fear of the hard work it takes to be that, to go that extra mile, to be that 1%er or 5%er or 10%er, you don't make it. And that's just the harsh realities of life that nobody wants to really address, but it's just the absolute truth. I'm not trying to be mean by saying that most of you won't make it, but I'm going to let you face reality. Most people don't have the drive or the wherewithal to actually go through the hardships of the monotonous day-to-day, everyday grind. Everybody glorifies the grind until they have to do it. It's all fun and games. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then 4 weeks in, I don't want to do it no more. I'm sore, I'm tired, I don't want to do it anymore. Or a couple of months in, I done lost 10 pounds, I don't want to do it anymore. Fighting games, I'm good enough to beat the average player, I don't want to do this anymore. The harsh reality is, fighting games, gym, life in general, if you really enjoy it, you're going to have to put the work in when you don't want to. And most people are not going to. And if you can do that, if you can actually put yourself aside and put your nose to the grind and do the work that most people don't want to do, the monotonous, tiresome, boring work that nobody wants to do, then you will reap the benefits that most people are going to fall short on. It's just the truth. Most people are going to fall short on this because it's not fun. But with all that being said, though, let's end it on a positive note. Everybody, for anybody who's been watching me that's been going to the gym, I am so proud of you. You keep doing that. You keep going hard. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow me on Instagram. It's the Chill Scrub. Follow me on Twitter too. It's the Chill Scrub if you want to see Sad Boy Hour sometimes. With all that being said, y'all have a great one, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.